almost died hiking, along with all my friends. Let me explain. We're recording a video for the Stocks channel where we spent 100 hours in the most isolated hotels we could find. And that final hotel, if you would call it that, was located on just the top of a hill.
I think it's a little tiny hill.
Like the Teletubbies hill.
I could roll down it. So tiny.
Yeah, just a nice little hill. To clarify, that hotel was more of a wooden hut that was on the top of a 35-mile hike mountain.
Yeah, the room service was terrible. There was no Wi-Fi. It sucked.
Just to clarify for you British or European folk,
Why do you have to point out us European blokes?
I'm not associated with this British.
What are you talking about, Plaza? We live right next to each other.
You get out of my country.
Shut up that way.
height to get to this hut was a 56-kilometer stroll.
How many Celsius is that?
What are you talking about?
We had to do that in 3 days. That's like climbing the tallest building in the world 70 times.
Oh my god.
Did you have any incidents on the way?
Yeah, we nearly died on our way up and down. Our journey began Saturday night after an early 5-hour plane ride, followed by an hour rattling around in the back of a rented van. So the van we got only had 2 seats in the front, and the rest of us were just in like an empty box.
And the rest of us.
You were sitting in the front.
Are you sure you didn't get kidnapped?
I think I did, honestly. I'm not sure.
The reason we had to take a rented van is because we had to bring like bikes, okay? We had to get 6 bikes for each of us. The only way to fit that many bikes is to get a van, and it has to be those big empty vans. We had like 2 people in the front, me sitting in the front, luxury,
Yeah, we're not rich like you, Socks. We have to be in the back.
while the rest of the people, like Nadway and Oof, they were in the back with all the bikes and everything, okay?
For how long?
Hours.
Is it illegal?
It is very illegal. Every time you would hit like a speed bump or a pothole, you would bounce all over the place. And the bikes were with you in the back. So it's like every time you hit something, the bikes would just crush you. And you would just hit every single side of the box for hours.
What a jolly good time. What a nice vacation.
That wasn't even the hike part. That was just to get to the hike. Our goal was just to reach the trail where the hike starts just on the first day, right? The road was covered in potholes and every little bump sent us flying in the back, okay? When I say we, I mean them. I was sitting in the front having a good time.
Yeah, you was in the front. Luxury, bro.
I was having a nice conversation with the drunk driver.
Wait, so you were going on top of a hill with a drunk driver?
There's 2 minors in the back of a van.
No way this man is not arrested.
Hold up a second. I've just realized you guys are minors.
Just to get there took a long time, maybe like 8 hours if you include the flights and the driving and stuff like that. It basically took the entire day. By the time we arrived at the trail, it was already around like 8 p.m. It was already evening.
Then it finally started.
What started?
The hike.
Wait, what?
We haven't even started the hike yet.
Yeah, we just got to the entrance.
So after the long day of travel, we stood up on our bikes at the very beginning of the trail. If it was just doing the actual hike, it wouldn't be that bad. But we also have to do stuff for YouTube. So I'm like, before we can even start, I'm standing there saying blah, 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 stuff for YouTube and whatnot, being like, oh, what's up, gamers? You know? And we're getting like drone shots. And by the time that's all done, it's already been another hour. So by the time we actually start the trail, so it's already 8 p.m. Like, it's almost dark, basically. All the stuff in our backpacks had like extra YouTube gear. The people that were with us, like the cameraman, the poor cameraman, dude, they had like 50 to 60 pounds of stuff in their backpack.
You forced that man to hike up that mountain with that heavy backpack, you monster.
You have all of that plus what you need for survival. You know, like you can't just take water and food. We also have to make funny content video, haha. The stuff we had in our backpack made everything twice as hard than it actually was supposed to be. We didn't think much of it. We're like, it's easy.
I thought much of it. What do you mean?
I could have done this easy.
The first part of the hike is a 9-mile bike ride, which doesn't sound too bad. 9 miles, not that bad. The whole bike ride is on a incline, and it's about a 10%, sometimes 15% gradient. So that's like,
What does that mean?
Yeah, we'll try 100% socks.
Yeah, you tell him.
riding on a 10% angle is considered a painful angle for like riding bikes.
Painful.
Yeah, we also had to ride with those heavy backpacks in the middle of the night. Can't see anything. But Socks one leading us.
Well, this is on the actual bicycle website.
Do bicycles have their own website?
This is on the Tour de France website. A 10% angle is considered painful if it's maintained for a long time. And then anything above 15% is considered extremely challenging for riders of all abilities.
And where were you on?
And we were on 15%. And we had to do that for 9 miles.
You stayed on on your bikes? You didn't like walk it? Oh no.
Well, when we started the hike, right, the incline was so bad at times that we had to get off our bikes to just walk it. It wasn't just the fact that it made your legs just completely cramp up. By this time, there was no more sun. And this wasn't just like a nice road, okay? This road had potholes and sometimes parts where you would just fall off the mountain itself.
You know, I actually did fall off. I fell off twice. I almost fell into the abyss, but one bush saved me, all right?
Did the bush grab you? Did it have arms?
Yeah, basically.
The actual light was an issue as well. So we're like biking. First of all, we could only go for like, I would say minutes at a time.
Damn, you suck socks.
What do you mean? You tried doing that.
Have you seen the size of my legs? Look at this. Look at this. Look at how big my legs are.
I want to lick that.
We probably stopped maybe, I would say a good 30 to 40 times just on the bike up. I would say at least 7 times we nearly died because only about 2 of us had headlamps for actual light while the rest of us had to bike in the dark.
2 of you guys could see, and the other 2 were just bats. Blind bats.
I was the bat. I was the bat.
Oh my god, you dirty bat.
It was almost impossible to bike in the dark because if it was a nice road in a nice public neighborhood, sure, so what if you ran into a pedestrian or a dog or 2? That's whatever. But it's like on this one, if you made a mistake, you would die. So what was supposed to only take us an hour or 2 took us the whole rest of the day. We weren't even at the hike yet. This was the pre-hike to get to the hike.
Are you kidding me? I thought that was half the hike was bike riding.
No, that was the trail to the hike.
At this point, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm riding my tank.
Tank? What tank? You had a tank this entire time?
Yeah, I got it from World of Tanks, a free-to-play team-based strategy game with hot tank-on-tank action. Use strategy to get advantage on your foes. Strategies like side scraping, reverse side scraping, blocking damage with the turret, blocking damage with the hole's front, hole dancing, and
Hiding your tank?
register into the game with the description to get free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? If you're a new player, get the Cromwell B with 250k credits, 7 days premium access, and 3 rental tanks for 10 battles each. If you're an existing player, get the Camouflage 2D style bargain, 3 days premium access, and the 7 days rental of the premium tank Centurion Mark 5/1, or 100k credit compensation if you already have this tank in your garage for some reason. Play right now and experience the holiday op events with the famous British actor and football player Vinnie Jones. Look how cozy this village is. Upgrade your festival atmosphere and get special rewards like this dog Shaffy.
Oh, so cute. Oh, look at the little dog. Oh my god.
Complete Vinny challenges to get more rewards like decals, a 2D style, and even Vinny himself. Mark 2 players as best friends so you can visit their villages for extra resources and unlock special customization. You can team up and defeat the enemy. Now you see here, I angled my tank 30 degrees to the left so the shallow would break a...
Get out of my way! Charge!
Thank you for World of Tanks for sponsoring this video, and remember to register in-game through the game link in description. By the time we got to the first checkpoint, it was the dead of night. We found a little trail piece. I mean, we've never been so relieved after our legs were literally cramping. You know it's bad when the strongest person in our group, a literal bodybuilder, literally died.
Are you talking about me, socks? Yeah, you're talking about me.
All right.
Must be talking about
Get him
Josie.
out of here.
Why did y'all even hike again?
Oh, we did it for a video.
Was it fun?
No, this was not fun. We made it to the first part of the trail, which I guess we were in quotations excited because we made it. But after what just happened, I don't know if we were looking forward to it. The original plan was to hike up at least a little bit the first day, but it was already past midnight and we were already exhausted. So we had to make camp right in front of where the trail started. This is the first time I went camping, or should I say all of us. Why is setting up a tent so complicated? All right. After an hour of just wrestling with nylon and rope and fighting some tears, I ended up with a deflated bouncy house. Okay, I barely even fit inside. It was so tiny.
So me all the time.
You're telling me 2 grown men cannot set up a tent?
Ali, we had 4 grown men. I didn't even set up my own tent, all right? I had someone else help me, all right? Because I'm not doing all that. I was grumpy, I was tired, and I was exhausted, all right?
I would just use my tent materials as a blanket.
Yeah, until your freaking bear and eats you alive.
You know what I would do?
It's not enough. No one cares, dude.
No, I would do that. I am the survival guy. Listen to me, dude. I could craft a spear with 2 sticks, 1 rope.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Just you would build an entire castle from scratch.
See, he knows. I got the blueprints in my head.
I'm gonna build the Queen of Grave, too.
I'm gonna push you down this mountain that way.
Oof sets up his tent and dies. Okay, he sets it up by himself, right, and then just crashes for the night.
I was asleep. I was gone. I Did not
Like
work.
the first 5 minutes, he's already asleep.
After an hour or so, if not two, we all set our tents up, and none of us had dinner because guess what? We forgot our pots and pans, so we couldn't even cook anything.
All right, what made our bag so heavy then? Huh? What were we carrying then? If we didn't have our pots and pans, what were we carrying?
What do you mean, what were you carrying? You was there that way. What are you talking about?
I don't know what we were carrying. All right, we had no pots and pans. We couldn't cook food. What was so heavy in those bags? What did Socks have us carry?
Why do you need pots and pans? Just cook it on the floor.
We just had Cliff Bars and fruits that were dried up.
You brought fruits? That is the worst thing you can bring.
No, it was dried fruit.
Fruits that can rot in a day.
Dried fruits. They don't go bad. They last like 20 years.
Yeah, but what did you have to cook?
We brought like MRI food that you can like heat up and like, cook. It's like the army people use.
You can eat it without cooking it.
Nope. Not the ones we got. It said you must cook.
Why would you listen to that?
Be a man, eat it without cooking it.
So, we all set up our tents. We ate some Cliff Bars. We were fine, right? I got inside. Honestly, every bug in existence decides to be as noisy as possible. Horrible neighbors. Here's the thing. It's not really comfortable to sleep either. I don't know if you guys spent any time under the stars recently. You're basically laying on a thin sleeping bag on top of a pile of rock, and you call it a tent. We settled down. We're going to fall asleep. We're going to get ready for the next day. Or at least I thought. I heard some rustling.
Was it Brian back alive again?
No, we have already lost one man. He's down. He's dead, okay? You're in the woods, right? So it could be a bunny. It could be a squirrel.
Could be a bear.
I started hearing growling. It's my first time camping, and I'm about to get eaten by a bear. Bears have insane noses, okay? They can smell food from even inside the wrappers. We knew this beforehand, so we threw all our food in a tree, like far away from where the camp was. But oof, since he fell asleep right away, bro, his whole bag was filled with food, okay? His whole bag was filled with them, okay?
He's keeping all the food for himself.
We didn't know this till the next day. So all I thought was like, oh, did we leave some food somewhere? Like, is there a Cliff Bar or something in my pocket or something? Am I seriously gonna get eaten alive because some spare Snickers bar I forgot to like take out of my pocket? I woke up the camera crew. I was like, get up. If I die, at least record it. Get the content, okay? There's a bear. There's a bear. Carson, our cameraman, he woke up. He started to panic. And the thing is, it's the dead of night. We don't have any lights. You don't see anything. We all started panicking, started talking. We were like, making noises and stuff like this. We just waited to see if something were to happen. But minute after minute, it was like, is that really growling? What is that noise? It just kept on happening, like every like 10 seconds. Like it was almost like a rhythm.
It was someone snoring.
It was that way. Bro was snoring, bro. Bro was snoring on the first night, and I thought it was a bear. You know how loud this guy was snoring?
I didn't know 14-year-olds could snore. I thought you only developed snoring after the age of 50.
Bro, I'm Arab, okay? And I'm tired. Okay, of course I'm gonna snore.
He was on the other side of camp, okay? He was on the other side of me, and he was snoring so loud, I heard it from all the way to my
How
tent.
old is Radway again?
Oh, he slept like a log.
After a 9-mile bike ride, barely any food, I'm exhausted, all right? I want to sleep, all right? Leave me alone.
You're like 80 years old. What?
Leave me alone, man.
We went to bed and we woke up about 2 hours later because the thing is we had to keep a very tight schedule because we had a plane leaving already the next day. We couldn't like sleep in and take our time. No, we had to go and we were already behind schedule. We had a tough first night. We barely had any food. We had about 2 hours of sleep and now we were just starting the hike. It would be awesome to have like breakfast before, but no food. Why didn't they just put a McDonald's or a Mega Mall like right where the start of the hike would be? It would be so much better. So we were hoping to feel big and strong before to climb a mountain, but no food. So we just started the hike. We were in the lower part of the mountain. It was a lot in the forest. It was kind of nice. And we had to cover about 3 miles, which was not bad, Our second checkpoint was to reach a lake. It was super important for us to make it to the lake because the difficulty on the first day ride meant we have already gone through about 90% of our water. We were already out of water on the first part of the hike. So we had to make it to the lake.
I offered to drink Sox's pee, but he wouldn't let me.
We started this first hike and we were walking. It wasn't the fact the distance was too far. It was the elevation was bad. So when you do on the bike, that's like 10, 15% elevation. This one is like inclined stairs. It's like worse stairs. You're just going up and up and up because you're literally climbing a mountain at this point. So we're crossing logs, we're crossing rocks, we're crossing streams. No, not streams. There was not streams.
I wish I could have crossed upon your stream, bro. I was thirsty, son.
We had to reach the lake. And at that point, if we reached the lake, I didn't even care how bad that water was. We just had to make it. So after about, I would say about 2-3 hours, we made it to the lake. We just had these purifying straws called life straws. And we went up to that lake.
Me next. Me next. Me next.
Sucking it.
How does it work?
It like filters it somehow. But the thing is, it's so slow. Like you have to suck so hard.
Oh my god, what do I get these?
Because it's good if you just want to get refreshed. But the hardest part is that how would you filter all that water and put it into your canteens?
You spit it.
Exactly. But you know how long that takes? You have these 2-3 liter water bags and you convert maybe 7 droplets of water a minute. We spent like an hour or two at the lake and I filled my water bag maybe like a third. Meanwhile, Oof and Nadway, why are you guys so quiet, Oof? What were you guys doing at the lake?
I felt, okay, listen, we sat in a tent for a little bit just chilling. Because the flies! There are so many bugs! They drove me crazy, bro!
You're scared of bugs, Nedway?
Juice. I was enraged! Those bugs, man! I can't stand them! They just kept on landing on my face, my leg, my water. I can't handle it, Juice.
You stink so bad.
Here's what Socks is not telling you guys. This man's a little thirsty boy. He drank his entire water bag the first way up.
I'm trying to live.
I had like 3/4 of my water left. So I was like, I'm gonna relax while these silly gooses fill up on water that is literally toilet water. And I'll drink my nice bottled water.
Yeah, me and Oof sat in the tent, snuggled up next to each other, and started cuddling in the tent while they were hard working. But I decided I want to go pull water because I'm running out. And Socks is like, no, wait, you gotta pull water because you're not having any of mine. Okay, fine. I go pull water. I spent 30 minutes, but then one fly decided to land on my arm, and I go to swat it, and I drop my water. All the clean water goes on the floor. I just gave up.
Remember what these guys say. We'll see who needs water in just another day. I told them they need water, and they're like, oh, nah, we're fine. I got it on camera. We couldn't stop here. Like I said, we were on a schedule. We had to do the second part of the hike. And this was to reach the 3rd checkpoint. And this was probably not the hardest part of the hike, but it was definitely harder than the forest. So the forest was the first part. The second part is more through the mountains. It was even more rigid and more kind of like elevated because it's not like hiking. You're like climbing on rocks and stuff. It's like you're actually in the mountains now. The thing about it is that we're so high up now, right? As we're going up and up, even the air, it's like hard to breathe. One, there was a fire like an hour away. So we were basically breathing in smoke 24/7.
You don't like smoke? I love breathing in smoke.
I love breathing in smoke.
And the other thing, it's like as you get higher up, it's just harder to breathe.
The air isn't airing.
We just had to keep going. We had to keep the pace. Okay, you have to imagine we're at 2 hours of sleep, basically no food, coming off a 9-mile bike ride, and we just did a 3-mile hike through the forest that we should have done the day before. How were we feeling at this point, Mr. Nadway Noof?
I was...
That's not good.
Oof was speed running. I was over here behind like...
We're trying to get to this 3rd checkpoint, which is called Goats Flats. I don't know why they called it there. There was no goats there.
They're liars.
But we're trying to get there. Everyone is honestly dealing with their own ways of exhaustion. We have to take breaks. Some people are complaining. Some people are fighting. A lot of people were just getting angry. The person I was actually most impressed with, right? So Nadway the fact that he was doing this was crazy. But Oof never complained. But he did something I found very funny. About every 30 minutes, he was like a robot. He would take a 5-minute power nap. So he would go, no complaints, and then he would just shut off. His controller was disconnected. And it would be anywhere. Like we would be on the top of the mountain on the edge, and he would just collapse and just wait there for 5 minutes. He wouldn't respond to anyone. And then he would just get back up and he'd be like, I'm good. And he goes for another 30 minutes, another hour.
Funniest thing is, the pictures we got of that, they're the sickest photos I've ever seen.
Just him being dead. He probably just passed out.
The ground was so comfortable.
When we get to the final part of the hike, this really interesting part happens with it. There was one part part, usually he would respond to us like, But when we reached the near end of the hike, there was one part where we were screaming his name and literally there was no response. And we were afraid he was dead. And I was like, oh no, we killed one of them. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. After about 6 hours of hiking, we finally made it to our next campsite, okay? We reached the Goat Flats, okay? All of us, we basically collapsed. We threw whatever we could on the floor. We threw together a tent and we had to regroup. We were just sitting down. We were like, man, this sucks. Our legs were hurting. All our arms were ripped up because it's like when you're traveling like through the forest and rocks, the tree branches are ripping up your skin. There's bugs everyone was getting bit. One of our cameramen got like attacked by wasps, so his legs were like all bitten and covered.
That was me. Sorry.
Everyone was just uncomfortable. Now it was time for the hardest part of the hike. From Goat Flats to the final hut. This was another 3-mile stretch. Unfortunately, we had to temporarily say goodbye to one of our members of the elite task force, Nadway.
I'm leaving.
You guys are such whingers. Such whingers.
What is that mean?
Whinging.
I didn't even remember 90% of the hike. I turned off my brain and I just kept on moving.
Wait, Nedway couldn't complete it?
Dude, because my legs, they literally could not move.
But where did you go? Did you just walk off?
I literally jumped off. I had to eat food for hours, or even days, drinking dirty swamp water. Listen, man, I had enough. I was tired.
These checkpoints are campsites. So when we set up our tents at the Goat Flats, that's where as soon as we set that up, we put Nadway in there and he just died in there. We had to leave him behind. He was sleeping already. But the rest of us, we still had a mission, okay? We had to reach the hut because we couldn't do it tomorrow. Because tomorrow we still had to go all the way back down. So we had to make it to the hut that day. 2 issues, right? Low on water. And 2, the sun was basically already dropping because it was about 8 p.m. again because we were hiking all day. The rest of us, we started our journey for the final part of the hike. This part sucked, okay?
All of it sucked already. How bad could this be?
This part was not, I wouldn't even consider it hiking, okay? It was like a sort of trekking. We were going across the actual mountain parts. We were going down ropes down the mountain. We were on like the edge of the mountain at one point where we were on the side, and if you made one slip, you would just fall and die. The last parts, right? The uphill on this was crazy. Like the uphill was like a straight 90-degree angle. It was like crazy at some points. Like you're going up the final pieces of the mountain at this point. And just before that last point was a glacier. The thing about the glacier, we didn't have the shoes for it. We just have these hiking boots.
You should have worn Lightning McQueen Crocs. You would have got up there in 5 seconds.
It's just ice and snow. So I stole Oos one of his hiking sticks. We just started going. The glacier parts took so long that it went from sunlight to dark while we were climbing these glaciers. We were just stabbing into the snow and like pulling myself up. Stabbing the snow and pulling myself up. Every like 3 seconds, like you try to plan your feet, but you would just slip and fall. So it was like going up this glacier, just climbing. Ugh. I mean, oof. How did you feel about the glacier part?
I personally felt like it wasn't too hard.
It wasn't maybe the climb that was too much. It was the fact that we were on the lack of food. So I think that's one thing. You can agree on that part, Oof, right?
I was eating fruit for the first time on that hike. I was eating bananas and pears and mangoes and peach. Like, it was disgusting.
Drawing us towards the hut is that hut would have our pans and pots. So we could finally cook our food.
The pants? You've been doing this butt booty naked the whole time?
Pans.
Oh.
So right when we got past the glacier, it's like we had to make it up there. So we got up to the final part, that final stretch, which just a couple hundred meters. Not even a couple hundred, under 100 meters, that last part. The last part was the ladders.
The ladders? What is it, like only up?
They put wooden ladders just nailed to the side of the mountain and be like, oh, yeah, this is fine. And it just goes straight up. We just passed the glacier part. And now this final bit in the dead of night, we're just climbing these ladders. This is the most unsafe stuff. How is it even approved? Like when you're climbing up these ladders, oh, yeah, the shaking's fine. Oh, yeah, this is fine. So let's just put our trust in these couple of nails into the mountain. What a great idea.
It was your idea.
But we did it. We reached the top. The dead of night once again. As soon as we go there, Oof hit his power nap. We started cooking food. They didn't even have pots and pans in the hut. We found a metal cup and we made lasagna in it.
I had to drink my lasagna. They messed it up.
It was the best food we ever had. Half of us were just sleeping on the floor. The other half, I was cuddled up next to Oof, and we were out. So we reached our destination. Nice. The view was insane. There was a lot of cool parts.
You were all the way at the top?
We were all the way on the top, but it was also the last day. So that means everything that we did in 2 days, we now had to do in 1 day, all the way back down.
Not even 1 day. It's probably under like half a day we had to do it.
Why don't you just roll down the mountain, Socks? I think you should do that.
At first, I was a bit like scared that, oh, we're not going to make this, because the first part going back down the mountain actually sucks more than going up, because it's like kind of rock climbing, go through the rock. It was actually easier going up. So I was like, nah, if it's like this, we're not going to make this. But once we started getting on the trail, like back on the mountain and stuff, going downhill, way better. So I was like, oh, okay, we're speed running this. We had lasagna in our stomachs. We were gaming. We stuffed our water packets with glacier stuff. Okay, we literally just put snow in our our water packets, and we were just like, yep, this is good enough.
Glacier water was so good, man.
All the food and water was just so good at this point. It's like when you want it, you want it.
This is where you wake up with a new undiscovered disease.
So we're making our way down, and we pick up Nadwe. Somehow he's not dead. I just realized that we just left this poor guy in the middle of nowhere with nothing.
Wait, Nadwe was still in the tent?
He was just in the tent.
Yeah, and I didn't eat anything whatsoever. They were up there eating lasagna, drinking glacier water. I had nothing, bro. I didn't have food, water. I was left there in the middle of the night in the dark, nothing to eat.
And we're like, Nadwe, we're here. We gotta go. And he was like, huh? He said he didn't want to go outside his tent because when he tried to, it was just pitch dark, and we leave him with a flashlight. So poor guy just stayed in his tent the whole time. So we picked it up. He felt a little refreshed, which was good. But we had to speed run all the way down. And the goal was to do it in no break.
You had to carry Nadwe all the way down the hill. Nadwe, you was over Socks' shoulder?
Nah, he didn't care. He dropped me right after that.
He ain't that nice.
So what took us about, I would say about 50 breaks, maybe 100 to get to the top. We took max, maybe 3 breaks all the way back down. We were making our way back down. We were speed running, okay? We made it all the way back to the bikes. But this part sucked, okay? Because we speed ran what took us a whole day and about 4 hours, okay? We were going. We only had like lasagna and a bit of fruit and some oatmeal, okay? We haven't eaten, and it's already the afternoon. We had no water. Our glacier water was out. We were all hungry. And let's not forget that we just did about 30 miles or if not 50 kilometers of hiking. We just have to do this bike ride. It should be nice, this bike ride. We're just biking down. It should be easier. We already biked up. We're just biking down. That's the easy part.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you don't have to pedal, right? If it was so steep.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to pedal at all. It's straight down. The thing about the mountain, it's not like a concrete road. The road is like, it's gravel. It's like rocks and like that sand. Just to say, if you try to brake, you don't brake, you slide. You can hold on both brake and it would take you about 20 seconds to actually come to a stop. And if you were at a downhill, you wouldn't stop. You would just keep sliding.
Also doesn't help that we had like $20 rental bikes.
$20? Why did you get more expensive bikes for such a big trip?
Don't ask me. Ask that guy right there. Sucks for one. Don't ask me.
Oof. He was pumped up. He was ready to go back home. He was going. He was ready. He was like, I'm taking the lead. Let's finish this. He takes the lead. I'm right behind him. And I was like, wow, we're making great pace. This is going to be easy, right? He was flying.
Flying down the mountain. He was zooming.
At this rate, we're going to make it back in like 20 minutes. The thing is, we didn't know about the braking thing, okay? We didn't even take account. We were not thinking. We were thinking like home. We need to go back. Oof, I see him. He's in front of me. He's like, wheel.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here, got my legs crossed up on the sofa, drinking my tea in my nice cozy fireplace. Yeah, well, where was you that way? In a freezing cold mountain?
Yeah, exactly. So what? Let's go to...
We're going speed, like that. He's going, right? And there's a turn coming up. He's going at a pretty good speed. So he's going. To my perspective, it looked like he was trying to slow down because to make this turn, you had to slow down, right? It was like, it was a turn. But the bikes couldn't. You're just sliding on the gravel. So I think he started braking a little too late and wham! He slammed right into this log on this turn. He did a double front front flip,
What? Jesus.
slammed into the log, and his bike flew onto the path. In my mind, I'm like, because I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear like an ow or anything. Like it just happened. It was just like boom. He just crashed. Because I'm right behind him. I just saw this, right? And I was like, huh, that's pretty funny. The first thing that happened in my mind was I was thinking of that bike meme. You know the meme where like one biker falls and then all the 100 other bikers just like crash into him?
Yeah.
That's what was going in my mind because his bike just landed on the trail. My instant reaction was to start braking. But that's when I also realized, hey, these brakes don't work. And I slam into his bike and I do a double front flip in front of him and I slam into the ground. And we are both on the ground right now. And I'm like we still haven't even said anything. I don't even think a single word went in between me and Oof right now, right?
The only thing I remember is I remember you being on the ground, and I'm like, huh, that's funny.
So we're on the ground here, and I just realized we have 4 people behind us. And I was like, oh no. So first thing, I screamed, slow down! The next guy, Brian, who died on the first part of the hike, he was coming down. He was skidding down into the bike. He smacked into Oof's bike. He didn't fall over, but that bike then hit Oof again. So Oof just got double hit. But luckily, the other guys in the back, like Nadway, they slowed down and didn't smack into us, because if they smacked into us, that would have been game over. We're here on the ground.
I come pedaling down, and I just hear, slow down! And I go and I see 3 people on the floor. I see Socks curled up in like a crybaby position. Like, wah, wah. And Oof is just laying there. I don't know what the hell just happened.
I'm like curled up into like a little ball because, you know, everything's just hurting at this point. But Oof, oh my God. He looks like those pictures you just sent. He's just on the ground. My first thought that goes in my head is, poor guy, if anything happens, I was worried about anything on his lower half of the body, because if he broke a leg or something like that, how is he going to get down the mountain? Because then we'll be stuck here. We have no water, no food. We saw only like 2 hiking groups, basically. There's not a lot of mentally insane people. We go over to Oof, you know, we're like, hey, how you doing? He didn't look so great. He tore a muscle, like the little connection thing in his arm. With that, he still had to put the backpack on, which probably hurt a lot. And he still had to do the whole bike ride down, which is insane. So bro basically had a broken shoulder, still had the backpack on, and still finished the bike all the way back down.
Man, dude, are you even human?
He's not. We took it nice and slow all the way down. I had to do a couple motivational speeches for Nadway. We had no water. It was like no water, no food. Bro, I think he was seeing 7 different things at once.
I saw the 5th dimension, Socks.
We made it to the van, and I've never been so happy to eat a cheese pizza that we have left there for 3 days. So that was our hiking experience. But if you want to see all the footage, make sure to go check out the Socks channel. The video is live. But if you enjoyed the storytelling, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to subscribe to all my friends. Link down below.